Bhakti Pitamaha told Ashvalayana, Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogat Avehi. O Ashvalayana, O seeker, may you understand, may you attain through the means of Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana. So Shraddha and Bhakti can be seen as preparing a person, being ready for the knowledge, and Dhyana as Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Antaranga Sadhana we can see. We can take it that way also. Shraddha and Bhakti, preparing oneself for wisdom, and Dhyana, the process of acquiring, owning wisdom. Then some commentators take Shraddha as Shravana, Bhakti as Manana, and Dhyana as Nididhyasana also. So okay, it won't be incorrect that way also. Shraddha as Shravanam, because with Shraddha only one does Shravanam, goes to a Guru, looks upon Veda as a Pramana, then does Shravanam. Therefore Shraddha implies, even though Shravana is not the Vachyartha of Shraddha, but Shraddha implies Shravana, they take. Fine. And Bhakti, commitment to answer the doubts one has about oneself, and then trying to resolve those doubts. And if there are any seeming contradictions in the Shruti Vakya, then one tries to understand that there is no contradiction. Resolve the seeming contradictions. There is coherence among all the Shruti Vakyas. For that, Manana is the predominant, the chief process. Therefore, Bhakti means Manana, they say. And Dhyana is contemplation, Nididhyasana. It's okay. Now, may you, Ashvalayana, may you understand Atma Swarupa by Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana. Now, Parameshti Brahmaji says what is not the means for Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, he says in the coming verse, and then he also enjoins one more means which is necessary for owning, for assimilation, for owning that wisdom. Okay. Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena, tyagena amritatvama nashuhu. This mantra we are familiar because we hear this chanting every day in the temple, evening time we hear. If I remember correctly, it comes in the okay. Na karmana, na prajaya, and then the word na we add with dhanena also. Na dhanena. Then tyagena eke amritatvam anashuhu. The word amritatvam anashu, these two words, amritatvam anashuhu, we have to take with all the four. Karmana, na karmana amritatvam anashuhu, na prajaya amritatvam anashuhu, na dhanena amritatvam anashuhu, tyagena eke amritatvam anashuhu. That amritatvam anashuhu, these two words, we have to take with each. Karmana na, prajaya na, dhanena na, and then amritatvam anashu with all the three, and then tyagena eke amritatvam anashuhu. Okay. The commentator points this out, we will be seeing that later. Karmana, by any amount of activity, action, be it laukika karma, worldly activities, to conduct one's life, survival, security, safety, well-being, comfort. These are all worldly activities. Suppose I adjust this, that's a worldly karma. Laukikam karma, that's all. Adjust the seat, adjust the mic. Laukika karma, that's all it is. Worldly activity for survival, for happy, for comfort, for security, all that. Karma also means here Vaidika karma also. Vaidika karma, that is enjoined by scriptures. Sandhya Vandanam is a scripturally enjoined karma. It says Aharahar Sandhyam Upasita. It says Aharahar daily. Sandhyam Upasita. May one do this Sandhya Upasana, this worship, this prayer during the Sandhya. Sandhya is the joining when the night ends and day begins, at sunrise time. And then sun sets and night begins. That is the sunset time, evening Sandhya. These two Sandhyas. And then Smriti says, noon also, the Smriti points out, says that the noon time, about noon, around 12, also one Sandhya is there. Aharahar Sandhyam Upasi, scripturally enjoined activity. One may do that Sandhya Vandana out of Shraddha in the scripture, in the Shastra, or one sees the value in it and does it. A person who does not have a value in the scripture, nor does see the value of it, would not do this Sandhya, would not do. Even if the person were, it would be better if the person were to do this, the person would not do, because the person does not have a value for scripture or does not understand the usefulness of this. Okay. Veda in injunction, when we say, it does not force us to do anything. Veda does not force us anything. Even the very word injunction is only in a sense. Commandment is only in a sense. It's not like a ruler commanding, thou shalt do this, else your head will be cut off. Right? There is a fear of punishment from a direct, a personal authority. But Veda is not an authority. In some places we see, the translation authority, commandment, injunction. That does not really explain the position of this Veda as a pramana. It only points out what is hitam. That's all it does. What is hitam for you, it just points out. And it expresses a kuru, do it. In that word it expresses. That's all. Just because it says do it does not mean that it is forcing me to do it. There is no personality called Veda coming, standing behind me and then twisting my arms. Hey, do this. Nothing. It only tells, it's not a personal authority, it is not. It only tells hita, what is good, doing which I stand to gain. Something which is abiding, something which is good. That's all it does. It only tells me what is hitam. Doing this, that will be hitam for you. And also, doing something else, some prohibited, nishiddha karma. By doing this, you stand to suffer. And therefore, don't do this. By doing something noble, you stand to gain Therefore, may you do this. By doing something which is not proper, you stand to lose. Therefore, don't do this. That's all the force of the injunctions do and don't in the Veda. Don't go away with the misunderstanding that it is an authority, just commanding. It only tells, do you want hitam? Do you want something good to happen to you, something good for you? Yes, then do this. That's all. Do this. To do this, I have to choose. I have to choose to do and I have to do. Veda just stops with that, this is good for you, therefore may you do this. It stops with that. To choose to do and do is in my hands. There is free will. It's left to me. May you choose this. May you see that there is good in this, and if you want good for yourself, you do this. Full stop. That's all. Gives freedom. Right? Respects me to understand. Expects that it respects my level that I am mature enough to understand what is hitam for me, and if I am wise enough, I want hitam for me. In order to have hitam for myself, may I do this. That's all. It respects me. Nobody respects an individual like Vedas. I tell you, nobody, no scripture, no other scripture respects the individual like the Veda does. Veda never puts me down. I may put myself down or I may put down other person, but Veda never puts me down. It says, you are Brahman. What? You are Brahman. How can you be put down? Right? Veda never puts down. Shastra never puts down the human being. It's we who are driven by Raga Dvesha. We put down Veda, we put down other people, and we put down ourselves also. Veda respects. It only tells you are mature enough to see that this is good for you. This is, by doing this, you will get what is good for you. Therefore, may you do this. That's all. Very mature approach, the maturest approach we have in the Vedas. Now, so the Vaidika karma, Shastriya karma is there. And then, as an appendage to this Veda, we have Smritis also. So, Smritis also enjoin certain karmas called Smarta karma. So, karma enjoined by Veda, recommended by Veda, is Vaidikam karma. And then, karma which is recommended by Smriti is Smarta karma. Both are Shastriya karma. Now, whether the karma is Laukika, worldly, or whether the karma is Vaidika or Smarta, whatever it is, karma produces result which is always finite. Karma itself is finite, and the result of karma also is finite. Antavattu palam. It's all finite. That is to say, comes at a time and then goes away after some time. Karma. Suppose I work for one day or a week in some establishment, then I cannot expect the establishment to pay for my lifetime. Pay insurance, pay pension, pay gratuity. I work for one day in an establishment. I can't expect you to pay for my lifelong, keep on paying, increment, promotion, perks. One day work, one day salary. Maybe out of some generosity, have it 1 week salary, have it. That's all. Cannot be infinite payment like karma is finite. Karma palam is also, karma is finite. Karma palam also is very, very finite. Whereas what Ashvalayana, the seeker, is seeking here is not the finite worldly result. Not only worldly result, the other worldly result. Okay. Is not seeking worldly or other worldly ends. life or afterlife, he is not seeking Ashvalayana. Karma cannot give moksha. This is a very famous mantra. Na karmana na prajaya is very, very famous, often repeated. Now, karma can produce, you may have seen this, karma can produce results which belong to these 4 categories only. The types of results can be categorized under these 4 only. Utpadyam, apyam, samskaryam and vikaryam. Only 4. I repeat, Utpadyam, apyam, samskaryam and vikaryam. Utpadya means something which is produced, which was not there earlier, now produced anew. Like a pot. Before it is made, it is not there. The pot form, the shape definitely was not there. So pot is made, utpadyam. Or look at another example. Suppose there is a cultivator, there is a farmer. That fellow cultivates in his field, okay? Cultivates grain, say rice or wheat, some grain the fellow cultivates. The cultivation, by the process of the act of cultivation, the fellow produces. That is, the grain is produced, right? As a result of that action of cultivation, the act of cultivation, grain is produced. If the fellow does not do the action, that grain is simply not there. Minus that karma, cultivation, there is no harvest. Grain harvest is not there. The grain is utpadyam. Okay. So karma can, all karmas may produce something which is utpadyam. And some karma may produce a result which is apyam, which is gotten. What is not gotten, you get it now. Like even the grain, at home I need to cook and then I don't have grain now. What do? Go to the farmer or go to the shop which sells grain and then I buy. That is apyam. I get grain which I did not have. That getting something which is there in the shop, now it's not there in my home, I need it, I go and buy, I get it. Getting something which is there, that is apyam. Like another example. Suppose I go to this Triveni Ghat area, this bazaar there, market, I go. Now, right now, sitting here, I am not in the market. Now, in order for me to reach the market, I have to walk. By the act of walking, I reach the market, which is there. But right now, it is not reached by me. By the act of walking, I reach the bazaar, market. So, this is apyam. And then the third one is samskaryam, purifying. I buy the grain from the shop and then I find in the rains and the wind and the heat and all that, there is some dust in it, some chaff in it. Then what do? I winnow the grain, I wash the grain. That is purifying something which is not pure for use. Now I purify. By the act of washing, the grain becomes pure. That is a purification, samskaryam. Create that necessary quality in that entity for use, that is samskarya. That is samskara. Samskara is the creating the necessary quality in some entity for use, for application. That is samskara. We do samskara for our own body, right? That means the body becomes qualified to do something. That is samskara for the body. Okay. Therefore, third is samskaryam, act of the result of an act which is purification. Right? An act by which purification takes place. That act is, the result is samskarya. Karma can produce samskara. Suppose I clean the room, broom the room. then that is samskara I do. I take a bath in the morning, that is samskara for the body. Okay. And I apply this bhasma, etc., that is samskara. It's all samskarya. Now, fourth one is vikarya, change, modify into something else, into some form or into some other, for some other application, in some form, some name, in a different form, etc. Like even I cook the grain, say. When I cook, it assumes a different shape. In raw form, the grain is hard. When I cook, it becomes soft. That is a vikara. Change, some modification is there. And further I grind the grain into paste and then make idli, okay? Idli out of rice grain, say. Or I make roti out of dal, what do you call that? Atta, I say. Like grind the wheat flour. That is all vikarya. Changing. These four only are the results of karma. Be it a laukika karma, be it a vaidika karma, whatever it is, the result of karma is only one among the four or a combination of these four. Sometimes vikara and samskara both may take place, either simultaneously or in sequence. It may happen. Right? Like even I said, no, somebody produces the grain, and then I buy the grain, and then I clean the grain, and then I pound the grain. These are all operations are taking place in sequence. Okay. Karma can produce only any one or a combination of these four alone. Fifth, there is no fifth result. Now, if you say moksha or Atma being Brahman, that is moksha, is it samskarya? Is Atma samskarya or is it moksha a samskara? Is it utpadya? Is it apya? Is it samskarya? Is it vikarya? It's none of these. Moksha is not utpadya, is not produced anew in Atma Swarupa, in Brahma Swarupa. It is siddham, already siddha it is. Therefore, Brahma being Atma, Atma being Brahma, or moksha is not utpadyam, is not a result of an act which is not a result which is produced by any action. One action or many actions. It's not utpadyam. Atma being Brahman is not utpadyam. Moksha is not utpadyam. Therefore, it cannot be, it is not. Anything that is utpadyam, that is anityam. Right? Jatasya dhruvam mrityuhu. Whatever that comes into being goes out of existence also. If moksha is utpadya, is produced newly, then moksha will go away also. I will lose moksha. I will lose being Brahman at one point of time. Therefore, it's not something which is utpadyam. Alright, is it apyam then? It is already there, but I get it. Okay? Brahman is Atma. Atma is already apta. It is siddha. Therefore, there is no question of converting this Atma into Brahman, or Atma going to Brahman, or Brahman coming to Atman. It is not there. If it is not apya, it being Atma Swarupa, it is siddha vastu. Therefore, moksha is not apya, nor Atma being Brahman is not apya, is apya. It's not apya. Therefore, it's not apyam as well. Therefore, it cannot be the result of a karma which produces apya. Right? Thirdly, samskarya, purifying. Atma is asanga, nitya shuddha. I as the kutastha, I as the witness, sakshi, I am untouched by all that happens around me and all that happens in what I call me. All that happens to the body, all that happens in the mind, I am untouched by this. I am asanga. In my ignorance alone, I take it Atma as Sasanga, Vikari, being afflicted by sukha, dukkha, etc., that is in ignorance. That does not make Atma afflicted by this sukha, dukkha. In ignorance, I think so. It's not that in ignorance Atma becomes afflicted. It's not. Like even our good old rope is not become afflicted by snakeness. Just because I say it is a snake, I see it as a snake. Okay? So, just because of ignorance, Atma is not afflicted. Okay. In fact, in certain Prakarana Grantha, it says even Jiva is not afflicted. It says it's called Praudavada. Right? Take a very strong position there. Why Atma? Even Jiva is not affected by samsara, it says. The Chidabhasa himself is not subjected by Sukha Dukkha. What to talk of Atma? Chidabhasa itself is not touched by Sukha Dukkha, it says. Prauda. A very strong position it takes. So, it has a validity in that position. From that standpoint, it is valid. Okay. But then, Atma per se, Brahman per se, is not touched by any impurity, Maya or Avidya or any of its effects. Right? Therefore, it's not something to be purified. What do you mean then by self-purification? You say purification, you say a lot, and then you say a lot of sadhanas, and you say we have to practice. And what do you mean by this purification then? We say Chitta Shuddhi, not Atma Shuddhi. No, we say Atma Shuddhi also no. There the meaning of Atma is Chittam only, that's all. When we come across this word, where we come across Atma Shuddhi, Bhagavad Gita itself says, right? Yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva Atma Shuddhaye, it says. Atma Shuddhi, for the sake of Atma Shuddhi, it says. What is the meaning of Atma there? Not Sachidananda Atma. It simply means mind. That's all. Just means mind there. See, the word Atma has many meanings. And depending upon the context, the meaning, we take the meaning. Words don't have fixed meanings. We'll be committing mistake if we take a fixed meaning for a word and then try to fit it elsewhere. Words don't have fixed meanings. Of course, there are some people who think that words have one fixed meaning. Every word has one fixed meaning. We don't see so. We don't see so, and also we don't say that the word has a fixed meaning. Word has a meaning depending upon the context, purely on the context. Vivakshataha shabda arthaha, depending upon the vivaksha, the intention, the context. Okay? Word meaning depends. Now here, when Gita says Atma Shuddhaye, they do. It's not for Sachidananda Atma Shuddhi, but then Chitta Shuddhi alone, Antahkarana Shuddhi alone is meant there. Okay. Antakarana may need Shuddhi, but not Atma. Antakarana needs samskara, not Atma. Sharira needs samskara, not Atma. Therefore, the samskara, karya, the karmas are not for Atma. It is Nitya Shuddha. It is Asanga. Therefore, untouched by Avidya, Maya, and all its karya. Therefore, karma, in terms of samskara, it doesn't produce moksha, it does not make Atma into Shuddha Brahma. Then you have Shuddha Brahma, Shuddha Atma, Shuddha Brahma, you say. Does it mean that there is Ashuddha Atma, Ashuddha Brahma? Right? When you say a tall building, that means that there is not a tall building also. Right? There is a building which is not tall also. When you say Shuddha Brahma, that means that Ashuddha Brahma is there. Here Ashuddha, that Shuddha is not a adjective there, it's a description. It's a description. Suppose I say a round circle. What does it mean? A round circle. Is it not enough if I say circle? Yeah, it's fine. But then I may say no. in the road, in the streets, we have something called the circle. That honey man circle, this man circle, that sir so and so circle we have. But it's not an exact circle. It's an odd shape. So we have there are what we call circles are not sometimes circles. Therefore, to make it clear, round circle. Even though there is redundancy there, but it says it's a perfect circle. It says. So too, the word Shuddha is a description there. It's not an adjective there. It's a lakshana, not a guna there. Shuddha is not a guna of Brahma. Shuddha is lakshana of Brahman. So here the word meaning, like we have Atma, depends upon the context there. In the Gita context there, it means Chitta Shuddhi alone, not for Atma Shuddhi. Atma is ever pure. Further, it is Asanga. Therefore, there is no need for karma which would create samskara in Atma or moksha. What about Vikarya? Convert Atma into Brahman, convert Jiva into Ishvara, right? Convert the samsara into moksha. Vikara. No, it's not a vikara also. It's avikari. Atma is avikari. Brahma is avikari. Nitya it is avikari. And it is siddhavastu. Something which is not in the desirable shape alone has to be, vikara has to be done. Say, I cannot eat raw rice. It won't digest. But then if I cook rice or then make wheat, I cannot eat wheat for food. I can't eat wheat grain. So I make it into a powder and then make it into a roti and then it's palatable, eatable it is. Raw form it is not eatable. In the sense it's not digestible. Cooked form it is digestible. Therefore vikara is necessary there. But then Atma is Brahman. It is not that Atma has to be converted into Brahman. And then Jiva has to be saved from samsara. Right? So Jiva, the Swarupa is Atma. Atma is Nitya Mukta, Brahman. Therefore, Vikara is also not applicable there. Therefore, Karmana, na Karmana. And further we know that, we have seen that already now, any result of karma is finite only. And we can even go to say, we say that any result of karma is anatma only. Any result of karma is anatma. It is nothing to do with the Atma Swarupa. Therefore, karmana amritatvam na. One does not gain amritatva by any amount of action, however exalted be the action, karmana na. Now, immediately one question comes in my mind. If karma is not the means for moksha, why do the Vedas talk about karma? With so much of commitment, Vedas says, so many karmas, small and big, right? Japa karma, homa karma, this karma, that karma, manasa karma. So many karmas are enjoined. Why? If karma is not going to produce moksha. It is only said that here, karma does not make Atma into Mukta. Karma does not produce moksha. Moksha is not the result of karma. That's all said here. But karma can be a karana, a means for Chitta Shuddhi. That is never denied. Nowhere it is denied. Karma is a means for Chitta Shuddhi. That too, a Vaidika karma. And there too, a Nishkama karma is a means for Chitta Shuddhi. Right? Suppose I want to drive a nail in the wall. Okay, at some 4 feet height. I want to drive a nail. And then bring me the instrument. I tell you, you go and bring me a ladder. Okay. Then I say this is useless. Why do you bring the ladder now? Ladder is useless, I say. Do I mean that when I say ladder is useless, do I mean that there is no point in making a ladder at all? Ladder is useless for anything at all. But is that the meaning? Ladder is useless for this. I need a hammer. That's all I need. I need the hammer. When I say the ladder is useless, I don't mean that the ladder is totally useless. I only mean that it is not useful for this purpose. I need a hammer. Hammer is the useful means. So too, karmana, na karmana, when it says, the very same Veda which enjoins karma says na karmana, amritatvam. That means karma is the means for chitta shuddhi. Okay. Right, karmana. And that too, specifically in the nishkama karma called karma yoga. This is the definite means. Even though other karmas also have a minuscule element in the result which can contribute to chitta shuddhi. Every karma has a very, very infinitesimal, a minuscule aspect of chitta shuddhi. Every karma. Vihitam karma. Not the avihitam, but the vihitam karma is a minuscule aspect. But then it is so tiny. And then suppose I go on doing that kamya karma or the laukika karma, bundles and bundles of it, mountains of that karma. And from those mountains of laukika and kamya karma, I will get 1 penny worth of chitta shuddhi. That's all I will get. Whereas nishkama karma is worth its like weight in gold, when you say. All of it produces chitta shuddhi. Right? Suppose I want to buy a thing and it costs say 10 rupees. Okay? It costs 10 rupees. So I may do something by which I can get 10 rupees and then buy the thing and use it. Or I may do very, very small jobs. Okay? Or jobs which give me 1 paisa salary. 1 paisa like. Okay? 1 paisa is 1/100th of a rupee. Now we have no value for it. We don't even see the paisa. We don't see. Why 1 paisa? 25 paisa is useless. Out of circulation now, 25. And for that matter, 50 is useless nowadays. 50 itself is useless. Half a rupee, 50 cents is Indian. 50 paisa is useless. Virtually useless. So, suppose I go on collecting 1 paisa, 1 paisa, 1 paisa, and then how many days I have to collect for 10 rupee in 1,000 days? 1 paisa per day means 1,000 days. It takes a lot of karma, a lot of time to accumulate 10 rupee worth of savings. No? So, kamya karma is like collecting 1 paisa per day. Nishkama karma is earning 10 rupee in 1 day. It's like that. Okay. And kamya karma, the predominant result is laukika ends, worldly ends, or the otherworldly ends. Karma. Right? Whereas nishkama karma, the worldly ends, it's all is insignificant. But then the chitta shuddhi is the predominant phalam, overwhelmingly predominant phalam. That's why Vedas say nishkama karma as a means for chitta shuddhi. So karma produces chitta shuddhi, all right, but not moksha. All right. Prajaya na. Next one. All possible notions about gaining moksha. I will become very powerful. Then I will command moksha. No. Prajaya na. Praja means progeny. Family and people, relations, all prajaya. I have a lot of people around me means I have become very powerful. By being powerful, I will become. This is what Rakshasas tried. All the Rakshasas and Asuras tried. They wanted to be very, very powerful. Bhasmasura, one fellow, wanted this power. What power? Enna power. In Tamil they say enna yalavu power. This fellow wanted this power. Whomsoever he keeps his hand on, that fellow will turn to ashes, reduce to ashes. What power is this? What do you call that? Cynicism? No, what do you call that? Set of mindset. Everyone should, if I keep the hand on the fellow's head, should turn to ashes. Some mental case. Some clear mental case, that fellow. Why should you have such powers? So if you want to burn something, light fire and then simply it burns to ashes, that's all. No, why do you want this power now? Keep the head. I should be so powerful. So I should be a terror. That doesn't mean I should be a terror to everyone. I mean, I'm very powerful. So the Rakshasas sought to be powerful, and every one of them perished. Every one of them caused trouble to all. Every one of them hurt others, harmed others. Ravana, this and that. So power is not the means for moksha. Prajaya na. I have a lot of people around me now. Prajaya na. Also, dhanena na, that word na, we have to supply that also. Dhanena na. By any amount of wealth, I can't buy moksha. Okay? I can't buy learning. I can't buy moksha. Chitta Shuddhi I can't buy. Mother I can't buy. I can ask somebody to act like my mother for a day or a few, but I cannot buy my mother. I cannot buy my body. I cannot buy my mind. Right? So many things which you cannot buy at all. So dhana, money, wealth, prosperity, etc. Of course, it can be a means for comforts. Yes. Money, wealth can give me comforts. Yes. Comforts is one thing, but happiness is totally another thing. It's a different ball game. Okay? Comfortable is one thing. A lot of people confuse comforts as constitute happiness. Comforts is equal to happiness. A lot of people think so, but it is not so. Our Swami Paramathan Swamiji says this. One can have lot of comfort, so comfortable, yet be miserable within. So that person is comfortably unhappy. So comfortable, like this princess, So she was given to comfort, so much comfort. She was so tender, and then some 7 or 8 stacks of quilt, soft quilt was stacked on that, and then she lied down on top of it, and at the bottom of the 7th one, at the bottommost, there was a peanut. Okay, and that peanut caused so much disturbance to her. So sensitive, so uncomfortable, right? Unhappy, comfortably unhappy. And another person we do have with very few comforts or very little comfort, we do see people who are happy. Therefore, comfort is not equal to happiness. There is no connection. There is no connection at all. To be happy, it needs a frame within. To be comfortable depends upon factors outside. Comfortable is outside. Happy is inside. There is no connection between comforts and happiness. Well, one may feel happy when one has comfort. One may feel uncomfortable, unhappy when one has not comfort. But that does not mean that comfort gives happiness. Does not mean so. Again, when one feels unhappy, one does not have comfort, it's again from within only. The unhappiness is from within only, not because of the absence of comfort. Right? The absence of comfort is only a trigger, is only a catalyst which invokes this unhappy within. That's all. Therefore, comfort is not happiness. What gives happiness then? It's the quality, the maturity of one's mind. In that alone one finds happiness. Therefore, it says here, dhanena na. By wealth, nobody can gain moksha. Suppose Brahmaji were to Ashvalayana could say, Brahmaji, how much moksha cost? $50? 500 rupees? How much? I'll give it twice that. Give me moksha. You may know that there are people who sell moksha. Okay? Yeah. Within 1 week they give moksha. Within 1 hour they give moksha. 1 week means 1,000 rupees. 1 hour means 50,000 rupees. Okay? There are people who give moksha. And more interestingly, there are believers for that also. There are believers for that. Hey, I paid 50,000 rupees and then so and so gave me moksha. Wow, 50,000 rupees moksha. Instant moksha. There are takers for everything. There is a buyer for everything. Yeah, anyway. So, dhanena amritatvam na. Now, these words also mean this. Karma means dharma. Then praja means kama. Dhana means artha. Dharma, artha. The artha, dharma, artha, kama. These three purusharthas. Right? Karma means dharma. Praja means kama. Means implies. Praja implies kama. Dhana implies artha. Wealth, prosperity, comfort, security. So, dharma, artha, kama, they are different purusharthas. Moksha is altogether different. Altogether different. Artha, kama, they are worldly pursuits, worldly ends. Dharma is both worldly and otherworldly, right? But moksha is other than worldly. It's neither worldly or otherworldly, it is other than worldly. Okay, just way of expressing, saying. So, dharma, artha, kama, they are different purusharthas. They are also called the samanya purushartha, the worldly ends, simple ends, whereas moksha is totally different. It's a different type, it's totally a different thing, and the means also is different. It's not the same as with the dharma, artha, kama. Then what is the means for moksha? It says tyagena. Tyagena, by tyaga, by renunciation, giving up. Eke, a few, some among the many, some among the millions. Amritatvam, immortality. Anashuhu, attained. Only a few have attained immortality. Amritatva is moksha here. Only a few attain this moksha. Okay. Only by tyaga it is said. Not by jnana, but he says tyaga. He sought, Ashvalayana asked for Brahma Vidyam, and then he said Adihi, he asked. Adihi Brahma Vidyam, he asked. Then here Brahmaji says Tyagena eke amritatvam anashu. This very clearly means Tyaga and Vidya go together. Here Tyaga and Brahma Vidya go together. Okay. Okay, we'll leave it here. We'll see more. Bhadram karne vishruvyama deva Bhadram pasye makshavetyajatra Sthirairandehi stushtavam satanudi Yasheva deva hidam yadayu Swastina indro vridhashravaha Swastina pusha vishvavedaha Swastina starshyo parishtabhimi Swastino mrigaspati dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om